Take you live now to Mthatha in the Eastern Cape. Growing concerns over the daily functioning of the Nelson Mandela Museum as it faces financial problems. There's been a decline in tourist numbers, largely attributed to the high levels of crime in that area. Our reporter Ntsiki Nohiya is on the story, joins us now. Ntsiki, good morning to you. What picture does this museum show us?
Good morning, Stephen. I mean, you can imagine this is a remarkable area, situated here in Mthatha, and a great concern from the management of the museum not to have enough funds to fulfill the mandate of Nelson Mandela legacy, but to take us through those challenges that the museum is faced with. I'm now joined by Dr. Vianney Boy, who is the Chief Operations Officer here at the Nelson Mandela Museum. Doc, thank you so much for your time. Tell us about these challenges and how do they affect the daily operations of the museum?
Well, thank you for this opportunity and also to allow me to talk about our institution and also its financial challenges. It is very much important to let you know that, yes, we are having serious financial challenges that have serious implications on our operations. That is negative repercussions on how we, unfold our operations here. First and foremost, I must say that the only department, perhaps it is because we are the public entity of that department, the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture in Pretoria. It is the only department of the state that is supporting this museum in terms of its operations, in terms of its infrastructure, in particular when it comes to the infrastructure development. So we really commend the department for that. But over and above that, it should be known that this institution called Nelson Mandela Museum is very much limping, when it comes to, the donors, You don't find donors having interest to support us. For instance, we are having youth programs or programs which are empowering women in the rural areas. We are having programs which are empowering youth, in particular unemployed youth. We are doing all our level best to ensure that the legacy of Nelson Mandela is operationalized. So what is important is we don't have sufficient funding, in particular coming from the private sector. That is why we are calling upon the private sector to assist.
Dr. Boy, you spoke to me as well about crime. Your tourists are coming here mugged almost every time they come here because of the lack of parking. There is no secure parking. And what do you have to say? How does that also impact the museum, the growth of the museum?
It is a serious matter that is being addressed by the museum and the King Sabata Dalindyebo municipality. It is a serious matter that is also addressed with the SAPS, within this area. Well, it is important that people of South Africa should know that the issue of crime is a problem, in particular in the area of Mthatha. We don't get much tourists coming to this institution, For one reason, safety and security. We don't get even the local tourists, the local people coming to the museum. Why? Because we don't even have a sufficient parking. So those are the issues that we are facing here. We are trying to address. Crime is a serious issue in the area.
Maybe the last one, Dr. Boy, you are building up to the commemoration of the 35 years since the icon, Ntsiki Nelson Mandela, was released from prison. Talk us through about those preparations and where will you be having those celebrations?
Yes, on the 11th of February 2025, we will be celebrating the 35th anniversary since Nelson Mandela was released from jail. We will be celebrating that in Cape Town together, with our stakeholders, Robben Island, Ntsiki Museum, and the government of Western Cape. And even the Minister of Arts and Culture in the Western Cape, so-called MEC, and the office of the mayor of Cape Town will be there. So it's going to be a very significant opportunity for the museum to take Nelson Mandela Museum outside Mthatha to benefit people of South Africa.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vianney Boy, the CEO of Nelson Mandela Museum here in Mthatha. It has got two establishments. It's here, the Bunga building, which is the main museum, and the other one in Ono. That's the one he was also talking to me about, that they need to expand that museum, but because of lack of funds, they are unable to do so. I do understand, Stephen, that the KSD municipality is now preparing for summit on crime to address exactly what the CEO was talking to me about. Back to you in studio.